Hey, The Break Vlogs here, and this is What the Break. And here is What the Break. I'm going to be talking about, dubbing, basically, and why. And people are always hating on dubs. I'm going to talk about dubbing, from the Japanese to the English, give my opinions, all out, unfiltered, just going to go at it. Because I'm just like, I really wanted to talk about this because this is really irking me. I made a video not too long ago, actually. I think it was it was talking about the Neon Alley thing. And, I was like, I don't know why people hate dubs so much. And people are like, sub overdub any day, dub sucks. I'm like, come on. I don't understand this whole concept of why everyone hates dubs. I don't understand it. Like, I actually enjoy dubs. I like hearing dubs. The problems I have with dubs, though, is I keep hearing the redundant voices over and over and over and over and over again. Now, I'm not saying that the Japanese don't do that, because the Japanese apparently does that too. As I've been watching more sub lately, I've been noticing a lot of same voices from other characters from different shows, So I'm like, hey, I know that voice. Oh, I know that voice. I do that all the time with a dub nowadays because Funimation dubs everything, so they use the same voice actors, which I don't get when they have alittle and they get like these new voice actors. Why won't they give freaking voice acting ninja a role for some show? Because I would love to hear his voice on a show because at least we get to hear a different variety of a voice. I'm just tired of hearing the same crap. That's the problem with English dubs in the first place, because they have the same freaking voice actors over and over and over again. But that's only because of Funimation, and Funimation gets most of the shows, and so they dub most of the shows, and we get redundancy. And so I'm just like, I want to hear different voices. They get more voice actors. Y'all making money. You guys are monopolizing freaking the whole industry right now. So you guys are making money. You can get other voice actors. It doesn't even cost that much because the voice acting, like these voice actors don't get paid a lot at all. I'm pretty sure at least in Japan, I think they get paid a little bit more, but it's still not enough because to live. With this, when it comes to English dubbing, man, you have to get a second job. Otherwise, you can't support yourself with voice acting at all. You can't. That's why, and there's another problem that's what's wrong with voice acting as well when it comes to the English dub. We get let me just name off some people. Johnny Bosch, Vic Mignogna, and Greg Garris. Those are the three people I'm gonna talk about right now because these three people are some of the people that always get into some dub in some show at some point because they're very popular voice actors, and so they always choose the very popular voice actors because they think they're making more money because of how popular they are. So that's why they put them in there. But sometimes you give them the wrong voice, the wrong character for the wrong voice, and it just don't fit. So then it just kind of crumbles because their acting is actually pretty good. It just don't fit. Like Vic Mignogna's voice cannot fit a lot of characters. Edward Eric, he made Edward Eric. He is Edward Eric. He made him. Anyone else, he's just an okay performance. He does a good job. Like Kakashi was an okay performance. He did freaking Orange Host Club. I didn't like it. He did some. Oh yes, he did Brawly. It was pretty good actually. But like I said, he did other characters. I just can't remember some of them. But he did other characters. Like, oh yeah, in Bleach, the Bleach filler right now, that's on Toonami. He's more, not more muscle, but he's he's Byakuya's sword, that guy, he's him. And it's just like, what I didn't like about that was the fact that he's already playing Akaku. And so if Akaku talks to him, they sound the same. And so that right there is a problem in itself. You should never have two characters come together like that, So it just didn't sound right. You know what I mean? That's what they do. And the problem with these three voice actors, and the reason why we probably get redundancy for their voice because they don't choose. Like the thing is, you think, oh, they can't change their voice at all. Like at least Johnny Bosch changed his voice for freaking Renton, but like besides that, he just used the same voice. But the problem with the reason why they don't change their voice is because they're singers. And they say this a lot too. And Vic Mignogna says this, he doesn't want to strain his voice too much. When he was doing Brawly, it strained his voice too much, which is why he doesn't want to do Brawly anymore. Because it wouldn't allow him to sing. He can't sing if he kept using that voice. And it's the same thing with Johnny Bosch, because Johnny Bosch has a band named iShine, and I actually like that band, but he has a band named iShine, and he's the lead singer of that band, and so he has to make sure his singer voice is there, as opposed to other voice actors. And same with Greg Garris. Greg Garris actually sings too from time to time, and the whole point is, singing and then voice acting is not a good mix because you gotta scream and do other things. But if voice actors sing and whatnot, and they're singing and they're voice acting at the same time, it's just not a good combination, which is why we end up getting redundancy with the voices. and stuff because they don't want to strain their voice. So then they don't want to change their voice because changing their voice will strain their voice, and then they can't sing. I'm following Johnny Abash, and he had a bad session with Ichigo because he had to scream so much and they couldn't sing, and so he couldn't do a performance, and so then that lack, that's a lack of performance right there, and he can't do it. So that's that's one of the reasons why you hear a lot of these dubbers, they don't tend to change their voice only because of that fact alone. Like, my favorite voice actor, honestly, is Crispin Freeman. He hasn't messed up on any dubs so far. Every dub he's in, he gives his 100% in. He's not a singer, so he actually gets to focus on just the character, and he becomes the character. And shoot, and I'm just gonna say it right now. I'm gonna just name off some people. That's why I really like his voice. Alucard from Hellsing. There's nothing else I can say right there. He is Alucard. He was amazing in that. Honestly, I prefer his voice over the Japanese because he was just really good. Now the rest of the dub, no, the Japanese went over the rest of the dub. Just his voice, itself made that show to me. So yeah, he was Hellsing. He was Alucard from Hellsing. He was Shizuo Hiwajima. Come on, if you actually hate this guy's voice, I'm sorry. I'm just like, something's wrong with you. You just really hate dubs then. But he's Shizuo Hiwajima. He was freaking Wait. He's a guy from Raidmaster who actually did a pretty good job, and he was Albedo. If you played Xenosaga, he was Albedo. He made that game entertaining. His voice acting made that game entertaining. His voice acting was the best by far in that game, because everyone else's voice acting was like, what the heck is this? Why do they sound like this? Why they don't have enough emotion? This guy was just going all out, and I was so happy every time he came, because it was just, his voice was amazing. And he was also some dude from Big O as well. He used the similar voice with Albedo, but it was still really good. And like, the whole point is, that's a good dubber right there. That's a good voice actor. He don't have to sing. He's not distracted by other things. He puts his all into every dub that he's in. And he's also Togusa from Ghost in the Shell. That's completely different. And I didn't even know he's Togusa until I had to look it up. And I was like, wow, he's Togusa too. He was good. I'm like, he never really, to me, he hasn't messed up yet. So I mean, that's the difference between a good voice actor than a voice actor that's singing. Singing. If you're singing and your voice actor, it just doesn't mix together because you didn't have a problem. So that's part of the reason why we end up hearing some redundancy for certain voice actors and whatnot. But I will admit there are times where like some of the performances seem dry. Within certain dubs. Like, there's a Clan dub I saw towards the end. I think it was Clan. It was Clan or Canon. It's one of those shows. One of those shows that got dubbed. And basically at the end, I saw a spoiler. I'm not sure if I want to spoil anything, but I'm not sure. Pretty sure everyone's seen this by now. I'm not even sure if it's spoiled. I'm not sure. I just saw it. But basically, it was a scene where this guy was going to confess to this girl, basically, or something like that. Or this guy was leaving, and the girl confessed her. The whole point is, it's supposed to be a very emotional scene, right? But if you in the dub, all you can do is kind of laugh for the fact that the emotion sucked in that. I was like, what the heck is this? Like, I cannot believe the dub was like that bad at that time, because I was looking at it and I'm like, wow, because I can see why anyone would say that's a bad dub. That sounded very amateurish. I don't know what happened or who was directing that, but they gotta get slapped. That was stupid. But you can't always also blame on the voice actors. Sometimes blame the directors, because the directors direct these people to say these lines the way they want them to, and so boom, it gives them that kind of stuff. But the whole point is, dubs aren't all bad. There's a lot of good dubs, and people always can say Cowboy Bebop's a good dub, Trigun's a good dub. Like the older shows were pretty good dubs. S. Cried was a good dub, Samurai Champloo. But I want to also name some like more modern day dubs that are new that came out that are pretty well. At least to me, anyways. Like Black Lagoon was an excellent dub. I would say better than the Japanese, but only for the fact that they tried to do like a lot of English stuff, and it just didn't go well. If you don't want to speak, if you don't know how to speak English at least in a good tone, it sounds weird if you try to force yourself to do it. Like, I commend her to try to speak like English and whatnot, but it just you don't have to do all that. I'm just saying, I just see that there's a lot of good things when it comes to dub, and I love listening to the voice actors and hearing the voices. And I don't necessarily want to keep reading everything, That's the other thing. Like, you're reading subs. The thing is, I have a greater opinion to me on this whole dub versus sub stuff, for the fact that I don't just watch subs and just like read the subtitles and then watch the show. No, I don't always do that. Actually, I watch raw episodes. I'm not sure if anyone else does that, and I would like to test you guys actually on if you guys can even watch a raw anime, you know, that has just Japanese, no subtitles. Because people always saying, oh, the Japanese has a better dub, blah 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 blah. But you always saying sub over dub. You always saying sub, not Japanese, over the English dub. You don't say that. I'm just saying, because people always like to read the subtitle and just hear the Japanese voices, and they can't really pay attention to the action. So one of the things I don't like about subtitles, because you have to read the subtitles and you got to make sure you're reading it. Like there's a show, which one was it? I can't remember what the show was. I can't remember what the show is at the moment, but there was a show I was watching, and the freaking subtitles was going so fast, I had to make sure I'm reading everything, because otherwise I don't know what's going on. I had to go back just so I can actually read it, and I don't like doing that, because if I can just hear it from in my own tone, like, you know, in English, I don't have to do all that. You know what I'm saying? So it's just there's pluses and there's downsides to all this. I'll say again, I don't dislike Japanese and I don't dislike the dub. I like both of them actually. Like when it comes to Funimation stuff, a lot of Funimation stuff I'm not really liking too much, only for the fact that they dub everything and they use the same voice actors every time. There's always at least one voice actor that I know that's big time. When I mean big time, there's like Monica Rao, Lauren Bailey, Johnny Ambosh. Oh yeah, I know Exorcist. I heard about this too. I want to talk about this. This is stupid. I don't know what the heck they're thinking with this. Apparently, in I Know Exorcist, Yukio is gonna be dubbed by Johnny Ambosh. I was like, what the heck is this? Who thought of that? I was like, I even said this before. They even announced this thing. I'm like, I'm really hoping Johnny Ambosh isn't in any of these dubs, or at least in I Know Exorcist and being Yukio, because Yukio would be a bad choice. And then my brother said, oh well, actually he's Yukio. I'm like, God dang it. So I'm just like, that was a bad choice to me. I don't want to hear his voice over Yukio. I mean, like, you know what I'm saying? It just his voice don't sound nothing like him. It don't even fit the character the way he is. I mean, maybe it might work, maybe, but at the same time, he's just gonna use the same voice, and I know what I'm gonna get, you know. So I don't know. It's the same thing with Greg Ayres. I knew what I was gonna get with Greg Ayres, which is why I'm not necessarily liking Gonta's voice. Though I'm liking his performance. His performance for Gonta, thumbs up. Come on. People, please get past the voice for a sec and listen to look how good he's acting. It's the acting that I care about. The thing is, what I want to know too, I've asked this question before when I talked about dub versus sub and stuff like this. I want to know exactly, what do you want when it comes to sub versus dub? Do you want to hear the dubbers try to imitate the Japanese, or do you want a whole different performance and a whole different just attitude to the whole thing? Still retaining to the characters, still retaining to the actual story. Do you want that, or do you want just a mere imitation of something? Because you can get a mere imitation of a show. They tried that with Ikaku's voice actor. You know, Thabreakmasta does Ikaku, and he tried to imitate the Japanese, and it just doesn't work. I don't like his. I like his voice when he first started, but now lately he's been lazy with his voice when it comes to Ikaku. So I'm just not really enjoying it that much. And so it just it's just, I don't know. It bothers me that, you know, there's times also. There's another thing I want to talk about. The English dubbing. When it comes to English dubbing, I already just addressed this. Remember Helsing? I just said this. Alucard's voice actor was amazing, far none to better than any of the other voice actors in that show. The thing is, he made the show, but that's the whole point. There are actually good voices in there. There's good voices, good voice actors that actually act. But then there's other times where there's, you know, not so good voice acting, so then it makes the good acting look bad too, and so then it doesn't go together, and so then it makes a bad dub. You know what I'm saying? Or you can still enjoy it because of certain characters in there. It's the whole point. So that's what happens too. There's not a balance between good and bad actors within a dub. When it comes to Japanese, they have actual voice acting crews, and they make sure they get all the good. They're all professional voice actors. They all know what to do. They make sure even the slightest characters are actually acted well. They don't just throw characters in there like, oh, just throw your voice in there. You know what I'm saying? I've seen that in Funimation when they got Wonfu Productions trying to be some backup crew for some just random people. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, it's not that bad to do that. But the whole point is just they don't care necessarily about professionalism when it comes to voice acting, as opposed to the Japanese, which is why the Japanese do have better voice acting, because all the characters have good voices. When it comes to the dub, they sometimes slack off with certain characters because they're not important to the series, or they have certain lines. They're like, oh no, look at that, and they just throw it out there and be like, oh no, look at that. Like they don't got nothing going on with their voice, you know. They just don't give enough to their performance, and so the whole point is what I'm getting at is that there are a lot of things wrong with the dubs, and there's certain things with the Japanese dubbing too when it comes to the lip flap. That's like the main issue I actually have when it comes to Japanese dub, because like I said, I watch raw anime. I don't just watch subtitles, and yeah, I notice that their lip flap sometimes is off. I don't understand how they get that off sometimes. It's not particularly any shows. It's like certain scenes, like the main one I can remember that was like off was in another, when they're in class and Sagaki Baro is just sitting there and he said something, and then all of a sudden his lip was off by like a couple of seconds. It was weird, but then it just fit. I don't know, it fitted after that. It was a little weird. It's like almost what I did in my fan dubs and stuff. It's a little weird. You know what I'm saying? So it's just, there's times where it actually comes off like that, but that's not a big deal as opposed to actually acting and fitting the characters. But what do you guys want is what I'm asking you guys. Would you guys want, there's two questions actually. Basically, the first question is, would you guys want an imitation dub, trying to imitate the voices, but how the Japanese have it, and just try to imitate the voices from the, like, trying to make it English and everything, like having a Kaku's voice saying "Hakaita," and then translate it to English and be like, "Hey, how you going?" or so. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Just like, do you want an imitation dub, or do you want a dub that veers off from the actual voices from the Japanese and just try to fit to the characters and the personality? The thing is, they did this before, and I think it's the only time they actually did this to me. Well, they did it a few other times, but they did this for Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball Z's dub for Japanese, I don't like. I'm just gonna say that right now. Goku sounds like a little girl. He's a grown man. He's been living for years and years and years, decades and crap like that. And I don't understand how in the heck he still sounds like a little girl. And it doesn't make sense. And they don't ever change. They didn't even change Gohan's voice. Gohan's voice still sounds like a little baby, even when he's freaking an adult. So it's just like the voices don't go together. You know, in the Japanese dub, but the acting's good. The acting's good. The voices don't fit. So that's the problem I have with when it comes to Japanese Dragon Ball Z dub. When it comes to English, they just veered off and did their own thing. And actually, I like their version better when it comes to Funimation. So that's why I'm getting at. Do you want a dub that veers off and just gives their own take on it and tries to not try to imitate, but try their best to act out the scenes and then just get the right characters for it, basically. That's all I'm really asking. Get the right characters, because they sometimes don't give a crap about the right characters sometimes, because they want to get popular voice actors in there, you know? And I don't like that. If they're doing that, stop that, because that's stupid. Get more voice actors so there's not redundancy with the voice acting. Make sure you're acting well. Make sure the characters' voices fit, because this is what I want. Make sure the characters' voices fit. I don't care if they sound like Japanese. They don't need to sound exactly like the Japanese. This is one of the shows I really don't want them to mess up when it comes to the dub. My favorite show, Tiger and Bunny. Kotetsu Kagabari's voice. Don't mess him up. I don't want them to mess up this voice. So the thing is, I'm not asking them to just try to act exactly like the Japanese. What I want them to do is find the voice actor that has his characteristics. Kotetsu, he acts goofy at times, so you have to make sure you sound goofy. Make sure he has maturity in his voice. Make sure he can get serious, where you can actually feel it. Have an empower voice where when you're talking in the speakers and stuff, it can affect you. You know what I'm saying? Because Kotetsu's voice is something that affected me. I loved his voice. And the same thing with Muta's. So I'm just like, when they dub Kotetsu's voice, I don't know his voice actor yet. I'm looking for it because they haven't said it yet. But whatever his voice actor is, please, I just really want them to have a voice that has that emotional sense to it, that goofiness, that seriousness that they can get, and make sure it's all good. I want that to be there all together. That's what I'm looking for. I'm not looking necessarily for an imitation. I don't want an imitation, because they can't imitate that voice, honestly, because his voice is very unique. Whoever that voice actor is for Kotetsu, he has a very unique voice, and it's just not something you can imitate. So they need to just veer off, make their own type of voice for it. Make sure they just act it out well as well, because that's my main gripe. I want them to act well. A lot of dubs nowadays, they act pretty well. They're pretty decent dubs. There's a lot of decent dubs nowadays. There's not really any bad dubs nowadays I've seen. So there's a lot of decent dubs, and so I just want them to make sure they got the right voices. So what do you guys want? You want an imitation, or do you want something that veers off so it fits the characters? What do you guys want? I'm asking you this question. So what is it? And two, do you watch Japanese Just pure Japanese. Just anime. You watch anime and it's in pure Japanese, no subtitles. Do you watch raw anime? Because I do from time to time, and I listen to the voice acting because I like the voice acting sometimes. Well, I like the voice acting in it, and mainly for especially for One Piece. I love One Piece voice acting in this. The voice acting in that show is really good, actually. So that's why I really prefer the Japanese over the Funimation dub. I like the Funimation dub in some sense, but they have a lot of throwback characters that we've seen already, we heard, and so it's just But I still enjoy it nonetheless. So yeah. This has been my little rant on the whole dubbing versus subbing stuff, and the whole point is, enough hate. If you don't like the dub, don't like the dub then, and don't give it on dub, because there's certain dubs that you might end up liking, but the whole point is there are a lot of redundancies within dubs. I can see why people don't like it, but don't just bash the crap out of it, is what I'm asking, There are good dubs out there, give it a shot, Just watch it. And if you don't like the dubs, then watch the subs. And just the whole point is enough with the hate, because that's why I'm really irked about when it comes to this. People are just hating over this. It's way too much. I'm just tired of it. Well, not tired, but I'm just tired of hearing about it. Because every time I go watch something dub on YouTube, there's always like, oh, Japanese better. I'm like, I end up thumbs down in some of those comments. I'm getting tired of them saying that, because there's sometimes they don't even make sense. Some of you people just saying that just to say it. So just enjoy the dub. If you don't enjoy it, then don't enjoy it. If you don't want to watch it, don't watch it. I don't understand why you hate it and then start watching it still. As I'm just saying, I don't get it. But the whole point is, enough with the hate. Come on, people. Just enjoy what you like, okay? It's anime. Enjoy the anime and support whatever it is, whatever language it is in. It can be in freaking Portuguese. Freaking anime. Get that crap. Yeah. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? It can be in any place and stuff. Just support anime. If you love anime, if you're an anime fan like I am, you would support anime regardless of what language it's in. Alright? So that's what I gotta say. This has been my little rant on dubbing and dub versus sub stuff. I shouldn't talk about this anymore. So yeah, what are you guys' thoughts? Answer my questions, because I really want to know what you guys really want when it comes to a dub, honestly. So leave your comments below, subscribe, like, good stuff.